Hey there, happy Friday. So it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy. And today I want to talk to you about Stampin' Up's new blending brushes. So blending brushes have been around for a while, I think. I've seen them on videos before and I always wondered if I should invest in the blending brushes because they looked pretty nice. But then when Stampin' Up came up with them, of course, I bought them as soon as I could. And I say brushes because it might look like a sponge, but really it's just a million little bristles on the brush here. And I wanted to show you, because you get 3 in a pack, and they're in the mini catalog in case you missed them when you were looking through there. And when I bought them, I thought, oh man, now I'm going to have to buy like 100 brushes so I have one brush for every color. But I'm going to show you now, this is the one that I've been using. And I want to show you what it looks like now, and then I'll show you at the end of blending. And then I was able to wash it. I just took it on a bar of soap and kind of scrubbed it around and then cleaned it good and let it dry, and it's like brand new. Now it is stained just a little bit, but the blending brushes are pretty cool. So let me show you, like I said, I played with just a few things. Let me show you what I did with mine. And the first thing I wanted to do was something like an ombre, something simple. And so I start off with cardstock because it's already colored, so you don't have to do a lot of blending or coloring, I guess you'd call it. And I took, this is Mary Mello ink and my blending brush. Now I like to hold it here. I hold it like this. I think I like to hold the head of the brush. It just gives me some more control maybe. Wait, let me grab a piece of scratch paper so I can not mess up my pretty blue one. Okay, whoop, here we go. So I just like to circle it around on the ink pad, and then I come here on the paper, and then, well, I'll tell you what, sometimes because when I'm doing the ombre effect, I want it to be darker at the bottom. So I just kind of start this way and work my way up to the top. But look how pretty that Mary Mello is on that Rococo Rose. I'm just gonna ombre it up. And I forgot to tell you, so the first thing I did to this piece of cardstock was I took the stamp set, that Dragonfly Garden, like this, and I heat embossed in white this image and the 2 little flying bug things. Well, that's what I call them. And that's how I got those on there. And then I am gonna go a little bit, whoop, oh man, look what I did to my paper. There's what not to do with your paper. I have such a heavy hand, I'm just muscles galore. Don't do that to your paper. Then I did, because I tend to be heavier over here, although not in this case, I turned it this way so I was a little bit heavier on this side, and I ombreed it up all the way so it looks like it's like that designer series paper that's in our celebration catalog, the ombre. Then when you have it like that, and I think that looks pretty good, it's a little bit darker at the bottom and works till it's lighter, I just took a soft rag. Now this is a Swifter dry sweeping cloth. I don't know, I love these things. And then you just take and buff that ink right off your white embossing. Careful not to bend my paper again. And then there you go, it looks like that. And then while I had my blending brush out here, I also took just a little piece of scratch paper and did just a little bit of coloring on there. So that way when I punched out my dragonfly, that coordinates with this stamp set here, my finished card ends up looking like this. So that little dragonfly there isn't like Rococo Rose, he has a little bit of color to him. And then, so you know, I layered it on a piece of Mary Mello paper here, and I took the ribbon from the Forever Greenery pack, and it looks like, to me it looks like gauze. That's I call the gauze ribbon. Terrible of me. And that's the gauze ribbon there. And then of course I used the new punch. Love this punch. It's got the scalloped, let's see if you can see it, oval. No, it's got a terrible glare and it's dirty. But anyway, and so I used that punch here for my greeting to make my card. But I think those blending brushes, excuse me, really make blending color now a lot easier. So let me show you another thing, because then when I decided, well, look how pretty that was, I wondered what our stencils would look like with the blending brushes, or how they would work. So I took, not that stencil, this is our basic stencil pattern, this one here. and I just put it on some paper and stenciled that. Let me show you what that looks like. So I took, and now this, because I have such a heavy hand, I use thick Whisper White, and it's not Whisper White now, it's Basic White, but I'll always say Whisper White. That's a hard habit to break. But then I took just a piece of masking tape. Now I have big old masking tape that I tell you what I do love, and let me take some of the stick off of there so it doesn't eat my paper up afterward. But on the back here, I just took and stuck my paper down to my mask, right? Some more of that Mary Mallow ink. And then this time I'm gonna kind of start in the corners, and I'm not gonna get it perfect. I'm gonna have some places darker than others, but just because I can. And I'm gonna start here and try to get some ink here. But wait till you see how pretty, and look how nice all those little bristles get in that stencil, and the background is just gonna be beautiful when I'm all done. Well, and you saw it on the Rococo Rose piece. I tend to tap, and I don't mean to tap, I mean to do circles on my ink pad. I think it works better that way. But there, that might be. You know, I want a little bit more in the corners here. There we go. Now it's starting to be. So it depends how much color you want on there. And really, the blending brushes give it a really soft, pretty look. Now I bet you watch other videos, and who knows, maybe in the future I'll come up with different ways to give them different textures and stuff. But I think that in the brushes you could do a lot with. So there, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to take that off, and now look at that. Now this I would just take and run it under some clear water and rinse it off. But look at that. Let me try to get my tape off. Oh good, and it didn't stick too bad. In fact, I'm going to hang on to that piece of tape, and I'll use it again since now it has lost some of its sticky. But then what I'm going to do to the edges here, then I'm going to kind of just blend around. Look how smooth and easy that is. It's beautiful. I am falling in love with the blending brushes. So then there, and then I'm going to just blend in a little bit so it's not stark white there, and look how pretty that is. And then on my card, which I'll show you, I did go ahead and take all that extra ink that's on there and just blend the corners of the inside, so that wasn't exactly stark white either. And so like I showed you before, when I was done, this is the same brush that I took and cleaned, and it almost comes out white again. So you can totally clean the brushes and let them dry, and you'll have a new brush to use on a different color again. So let me show you what card I made with these two pieces. It looks like this. I thought it came out really pretty. Now this stamp set, the Thinking of You, is the new, I call it the Wordy die, or the Wordy stamp set in the mini catalog. It has tons of really nice sayings for the front and for the inside of your cards. It's called Happy Thoughts. And so that's what I used here. And then for my heart, I took that beautiful foil, I think it's, well, it's called Love You Always foil paper, designer series paper, and the foil paper like this, and punched it out with our hearts. And that's how I got the little foil heart here, which is absolutely beautiful. And then you can't go wrong, of course, with the glitter ribbon. Is that what that's called? I had it here, but I don't know where it went now. Oh, here it is. What is it called? Yep, glittered organdy ribbon. Look how pretty that is on that card there, the Thinking of You card. So then after doing that, I decided I want to see how it works at blending just with on regular white paper to do like an outdoor scenery or something like that. So I took just a piece. Now again, this is the thick white cardstock because, like I said, I have that heavy hand and I'm worried I'm going to push too hard and bend if I used white cardstock. But then I'm going to take this stamp set here. This is the Garden Wishes stamp set. And when I first got this stamp set, it was a free gift from Stampin' Up. I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. But then watch what you can do with this blender pens and this stamp set. So I'm going to take and put my little weed, my dandelion right there, and then that little bee that's in the stamp set right here. And now if you've seen me with my Stamparatus before, you know that on my Stamparatus I have just my base plate, I have my grid paper, and then I put a piece of sticky grid paper behind my white paper, so then that way I don't have to use my magnets, and then that way it's stuck on there pretty good. Then with just some plain, now I can't find, here it is, Memento black ink, I'm gonna just ink up my little images here. And now the reason I did it on my Stamparatus is because I want these really, really dark. When I'm gonna ink over them like this, I want to make sure that my image is nice and dark black. So if I put 2 or 3 coats, what is with my little here? This guy here is not cooperating. There, well, no, still. But let me apply a little pressure right here. There we go. Make sure he's in his hinges too. But there, now I have a really dark, nice image on my paper. And I'm still not happy with this little guy right here. Let me see if I can't get him one more time. There we go. Now I'm happy. See how dark that is? Then, take my cardstock off there. Put my Stamparatus away. Where was my scratch paper so I don't get ink all over everything? And now I'm going to take this piece on my scratch paper and just rub it so I can see that that ink is dry and no excess ink in case your ink pads are really wet. I might even hit it with the ink, with the heat gun just a little bit, because I want to make sure that ink is nice and dry. I don't want it to blend into my other colors. Okay, then I just picked 3 colors from our Settles collection. So I picked Balmy Blue, So Saffron, and some Pear Pizzazz. Let me get a new brush because this one I haven't washed. I'll have to go wash that one to use it in the lighter colors like this. But I have my blending brush here, and I'm going to start with So Saffron. Now the reason I wanted to stamp this first is because I want to kind of see, you know, where the sky, where the dandelion, and where the flowers all, or the leaves all go. And that's why I decided to stamp it first. So I'm going to pick up some of that yellow ink, and this time I'm going to just go back and forth like this because I kind of want a yellow stripe right here in the center. And now I could be wrong, but I think because I use the thicker Whisper White, basic white cardstock, it doesn't tend to bend on me because I'm really applying pressure. I can't help it. When I blend, I apply pressure. I think it's because I want fast results, when with blending I think you need subtle colors and you get lighter results with just a little bit extra work. I hope that makes sense. But there's some yellow there, kind of in the center of my card, right? And then I was trying to think, well, which color would come next? Because usually with blending like this, so I don't have to change brushes, I go from the light color to the darker colors. But then I thought, well, blue and yellow together kind of make green. So I went with the blue next, and I'm going to just pick up some of that blue ink. I'm even going to turn my cardstock over, and then I'm going to just blend in some of that blue for the sky. And I kind of wonder if I went too far with my yellow, but I think I can blend it in with the blue here. Yeah, look how pretty that turns out. Let me do one more time this way. Make sure I get my sides even and my top. There, look how pretty that is. Okay, then we'll go down to the bottom, and here I used Pear Pizzazz. Did I say that my blue was Balmy Blue? I think I did. I'm going to just kind of clean off my brush a little bit onto my rag, pick up some of that green ink, and then come down here and then put some of that little bit of green at the bottom. And then while I have my brush sturdy, I'm going to go ahead and just do a piece of scratch paper too for my greeting later, and I'll show you what I did. Just a little bit on that. I don't want a lot. One more time, and then I'm going to go this way because I think that one side I tend to hit harder than the other side. and blend that in. And now look how pretty that piece of paper is with those different colors blended up on there. So let me show you the finished card here again. I did use some, after I was all done, I took some blends, the same blend colors, although we don't have Pear Pizzazz, so I believe I used the light Old Olive, and then I don't have the, excuse me, so saffron marker, so I used the light Daffodil Delight here to color my flowers. I did use, and my bumblebee, and I did use some of that light balmy blue for his wings, and then I did take a little bit of Wink Stella. I don't think you can see it on the video, but there's a little bit of Wink Stella on his leaves. Again, I used that glitter ribbon and the scallop punch for my greeting as part of that card. And then if you notice on the inside, I kind of just blend the paper so it's not stark white in there. It kind of coordinates with the front. So there you go. That's what I have. That's what I played with this weekend with my blender brushes. Let me show you all my cards again. Let me know what you think. I hope you'll give the blender brushes a try. Like I said, when I saw that Stampin' Up! Had them, I figured they would be very high quality and really nice brushes. And I wasn't disappointed. They are really nice. And when you wash them, you can use them again and again in different colors. You don't have to have a million of them for all the different colors that you have. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you back here on Monday. Bye-bye.